Director Di Cesnola sent one museum attendant running outside to find a beat cop, another to telephone Mulberry Street Police headquarters. The reporters assigned to cover the opening of the exhibition took out their pads and pencils, scribbling notes and elbowing their way through the crowd to ask questions and get a better look at the blood-soaked corpse. One of them, who freelanced as a sketch artist, had nearly finished a preliminary drawing when the Chinese bodyguards returned with their emptied revolvers. There wasn't time to wait for the police to arrive. Leaving Prudence to see to Bettina and the attaché's youngest daughter, while the son comforted his mother and other sister, Geoffrey and Lowry reached the museum's lobby area before the huge central doors had swung shut behind the man sent to locate a beat cop. A dusting of fresh snow had covered the ground overnight, but the morning's foot traffic had churned it into icy, muddy slush. Street sweepers, who usually mounded horse dung into steaming piles in the roadway, were brushing the walkways clean. With a nod to signal agreement, Lowry turned into Central Park, and Geoffrey struck off across Fifth Avenue, where rows of brownstones were interspersed between the mansions, apartment houses, and luxurious hotels that had sprung up when Lower Fifth no longer had room for expansion. It had been years since either of them had done basic foot reconnaissance, but lessons well learned are never forgotten. There was no telling in which direction the man in the blue jacket and trousers had run, so the two most likely possibilities had to be explored. Few pedestrians strode the sidewalks opposite Central Park and the museum, but here and there servants swept front steps and areaways, polished brass doorknobs, and walked pampered pets. Someone running for his life would be noticed, even if he slowed to a walk after leaving the museum's immediate area, especially if he still clutched a bloody knife in his hand. 3 blocks into his search, Geoffrey knew the man hadn't run in that direction. No one had seen him, and the description he gave raised eyebrows. There were no Chinese living in this part of the city, no Chinese servants employed by hotels or householders. He was usually only a few sentences into his description before the individual he was questioning shook his head and walked away. His last stop before turning back was at the small and very select apartment hotel where he'd briefly considered renting rooms before deciding on the far grander Fifth Avenue Hotel. The Vienna Arts catered to an older, more settled crowd of wealthy New Yorkers than those who frequented the larger hotels, the plush lobby so silent you could hear the swish of its ferns whenever the front door opened. The doorman pocketed Geoffrey's generous tip and assured him that no one who shouldn't be there had come by.